For the first time ever, Latinos are now California's largest ethnic group, making up nearly 40% of the population. And for the first time, California is represented by a Latino senator, Alex Padilla, who grew up in the same neighborhood as fellow Democrat Congressman Tony Cárdenas. Lydia Pantaza spent time with the two on a recent trip back to where it all began.
It's a historical moment.
The House will be in order.
Late last year, Senator Alex Padilla, seen on the left, and Congressman Tony Cárdenas, seen here on the right, presided over the two houses of Congress on the same day. The first time for two Latinos from California, and they're both from Pacoima.
We're both at this amazing, amazing place in this beautiful building, presiding over two of the most prestigious places on the planet. And with so much responsibility, it just hit me like a ton of bricks.
That day, Congressman Cárdenas tweeted, calling it an emotional moment. Senator Padilla said he was proud to have shared the moment with his friend.
The fact that it was organic and spontaneous made it even that more special.
But to understand just how special this event was for these two lawmakers, you have to look at their childhood, their friendship, and the connection these two men had years before they met.
That's you?
Yeah, that's me.
Congressman Cárdenas, San Fernando High School class of 81. Senator Padilla, class of 90.
Tony played football, I played baseball while we were here.
As they walk through the halls of their alma mater, it's clear that their high school is just one of the things that these two men have in common.
We have such a same history. Our parents are all immigrants, and we grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same schools, elementary schools.
Congressman Cárdenas and Senator Padilla grew up within a block of each other in Pacoima. Their parents attended the same church. They first worked together in the mid-90s when now Congressman Cárdenas ran for state assembly and won.
He ran my campaign, and the rest is history.
The two men became close friends, brothers, and now they're even roommates in D.C. Both say it's their parents who inspire them, immigrants who came here from Mexico to give their children a better life. But as Senator Padilla tells me, his parents also kept him grounded.
How many times growing up, my mom would insist on, hey, que no se te vaya la cabeza, right? Don't let things get to your head. Nice to meet you.
As we finished our interview, there were already students standing by waiting for words of wisdom.
Nobody of color had ever been elected to the state legislature in the entire San Fernando Valley.
In sharing their story, they're hoping to inspire future generations of leaders.
And Lydia joins us now. I bet folks are saying, okay, what's in the water in Pacoima? I got to get my kids to that school. It looks so great. And I understand this is like the tip of the iceberg, that these two share a lot more in common that you couldn't even get to. Tell us a bit about that.
They do. They're both engineers. So Senator Padilla, he went to MIT, and then Cárdenas, he went to UCSB. They both studied engineering. So they're both very interested in infrastructure and transportation as well. But they're roommates in D.C., which is so interesting to me. They actually are roommates over there. And they also are involved in each other's personal life because Senator Padilla was introduced to his wife by Cárdenas. So it's so interesting. Like, it just kind of keeps going back and forth. And they spend a lot of time together. They're in Washington, D.C. They're from the same neighborhood. And they talk about a lot of stuff that they have in common. And they kind of go back, to their house, right? And they talk about what happened, at the Capitol. So they have a lot in common.
Yeah, it's like a modern day version of The Odd Couple. I mean, they have such great chemistry, and then you add in the additional factor that you get to interview them at their alma mater. What was that like?
It was fun. I mean, I was interviewing them, they were talking, and then they started reminiscing. And that was really fun to see, is to see them kind of talk about, hey, we went to school with this person, and do you know this person's brother and this person's sister? And there's teachers there that they actually went to school with. And both of them go back there on a frequent basis to talk to the kids. So they're very familiar with the school now as well. But yeah, they started reminiscing, and it was really cool to see them go through the yearbooks.
Yeah. One more thing that they have in common, Lydia, is that they both want to keep their jobs.
Yes.
They're both running for re-election. Tell us a little bit about those two.
So Congressman Cárdenas, of course, he's running. They're very confident. I just spoke to his representative before coming here. They're very confident, but they're not taking anything for granted. So they are definitely pushing hard. They're getting those votes. And of course, Senator Padilla, we all know what happened, of course, with the Democratic Party. They forgot to put the endorsement on the ballot, right? So I talked to them about that. Not happy about that, obviously.
Yeah.
But he says he's going to have to work twice as hard, and he's obviously going to push forward. There's nothing really he can do about that, but it's just kind of one little obstacle, right?
Yeah.
This race, because he's running for election.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he's running for election because, as folks might remember, he kind of got, a with Kamala Harris. There's a lot of moving parts in California politics. But I think it's really nice, Lydia, we focus so often on the contests and all the latest political wranglings, remembering where the story began for all of them is just really neat stuff.
And it was really fun interviewing them. I had a good time interviewing them, getting to know them on that level, because it really humanizes them, right? We know politicians, right? We see them as politicians, but you got to know a personal side of them, which is really nice.
Well, Lydia, it's great having you back with us here in studio. Thank you so much for dropping by.